Here we are. It is time. After a long kinda wait, Generation 9 is here. As I'm sure you are all aware, I have not been too personally satisfied with the most recent Pokemon offerings. Sword and Shield, existed. BDSP was a game. Arceus was okay. You know, it was fine. A lot of people did like it, just me personally, it wasn't, I just didn't really like the gameplay too much. It was just kind of weird. But it's still a good, it was a game. So with three, well, there's also Let's Go Pikachu, so four, and then Ultra Sun and Moon. Alright, lot of bad games. So this was kinda the last test for me. If this game was bad, then I knew that it was just never gonna work again. So there's a lot riding on this game. So for me, what is my opinion? It's good. Thank God. I think it's good. It's actually not okay. Now, there's it's not perfect. Dear Lord, is it not perfect? But you know what? I was actually going to talk about it at first. I was going to talk about all the bad stuff and then go into the good stuff. I think it might be better to wait till the end. And don't worry, I will talk about it. I'm going to go through this entire review without mentioning it, and you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention it, but I will at the end. So anytime I say something positive, you're like, yeah, but this, I will get to it. Don't worry. But let's start with the positives. There's actually more than two. This video is unscripted, obviously. I'm just kind of talking. I have notes, but like not a lot. Also, there will be no spoilers. I'm not gonna anything that wasn't revealed in the trailers. I'm not gonna talk about, so don't worry about it. So first off, the game is open world, for real this time. Arceus, it doesn't count. The game's open world, and I think it works really well. I think this proves that Pokemon not only can work in an open world setting, but it should work. It should keep doing it, I guess. The world's actually pretty big. I don't think I've beaten the game, but I still haven't really like explored that much. Like the snowy mountain area, I just kind of went to the town and then left. So there's still like a lot to look around there. Now there isn't really that much to find in the open world. Most of the time you'll just find like Pokeballs on the ground. They'll either have TMs or some kind of item. And for me, finding an item, it's not really that cool. Like if I find an X attack, I'm like, all right, I'm never gonna use this. But for me, the satisfaction doesn't come from getting the item and getting something to use. It comes from finding it. Finding the item for me and picking it up is fun enough to the point where it doesn't really matter what it is. Like, what's the point if you have a ton of collectibles if they're not fun to get? And for me, this game kind of makes the collectibles fun. Like, it's just like easy to just run past the Pokeball, press A, and pick it up. Doesn't really matter what it is. It's just fun to collect. Because this game is open world, there's a ton of well, there's the 3 plot thing that they talked about a lot in the lead up to the game releasing, and I think this actually works really well. There are 3 main plots, like they said. There's Arven, he's going around looking for the Titan Pokemon. You gotta fight the big boys. There's dealing with Team Star and their camps, and then there's gym leaders. And this works really well with the giant open world. Like, you'll be going around, you see if you find a Titan Pokemon, you find the giant crab, you're like, hell yeah. You beat that, you get you upgrade your guy. That's how you upgrade your guy, you beat Titans. You upgrade your guy, you go to a gym, hell yeah. You find a Team Star thing, you do that, you find another Titan Pokemon. Uh-oh, my Pokemon are kind of overleveled. I'm gonna go to the gym and get my gym badge respect increased. Like, it just kind of works. You just jump around a lot and it works really well. It's very easy to just go from one to another. There's constantly, like, you'll find like a Titan or a Team Star thing or a gym pretty often. Like, they're pretty well spaced out, and there's never any like whiplash going from one to another. Like, it just kind of works. So I think the 3 story whatever they went with actually turned out pretty good. So yeah, another positive. Holy shit. Another good thing, kinda, this might have just been like a first playthrough thing, but it kind of took a while for like the training wheels to fully come off. It took me about 4 hours, I think, for me to like fully access to get out of the game's control. But once that did happen, I was just free. I could just go wherever I want, do whatever I want. It was great. I don't think it's gonna be that bad playing through it again, because like in those 4 hours, you still have a Pokemon. You get the Pokemon pretty early, and you can just kind of go. It doesn't really hold your hand that tight in the beginning, so I think it'll be fine. Like, plus since I've played it already, I can probably go through it a little faster. But this probably is the best Pokemon game for repeat playthroughs. You constantly see new Pokemon, not even just like new to this region, but like new Pokemon and like routes and the grass. You just find them all over the place. So like you're never like stuck with just the bird or the bug on Route 1. There's like tons of options. There's like 50 Pokemon, not 50, but there's like 20 Pokemon on Route 1. Or quote unquote Route 1. It's just the first area. I mean, yeah, repeat playthroughs you can go try and take on the last gym, but like they kind of lead you along in a certain order. Like, yeah, you can fight the gyms in any order you want, but like you should probably just do it in the order. Like, you can try to like go find the ice gym first, which is one of the later ones. But like in order to get to where the ice gym is, you need to get the climbing thing for the bike, and you got to beat like 5 Titans to do that. So like you can technically do it in any order you want, but your Pokemon are going to be hella underleveled. I guess you could just catch some wild Pokemon then, but then they won't listen to you. Yeah, I guess it works out. I wish the gym scaled to your level, because one of the gyms accidentally skipped and then had to come back and do later, and I just like, well, I didn't really struggle with any of the gyms. I pretty much one-shot pretty much every Pokemon on their team, even when I was going in the order they wanted me to. So like the game wasn't hard. Most of the game wasn't hard. The gyms were pretty easy. I wish they like kind of scaled to your level, but they don't. Whatever. I guess I can talk about traversal now. The legendary bike, whatever Miraidon. I picked Violet, by the way, obviously. Come on. I think this works pretty good. It's pretty fun to ride. The frame rate does kind of drop when you jump a little bit, but like I think it feels pretty good. And as I said earlier, beating the Titans, which are the big guys you fight with Arven, unlocks new abilities for your bike, like the ability to fly, climb walls, go faster. And I think that works pretty well. While there isn't a lot to do in the overworld in terms of like messing around with the bike, there are some sections of the game, like some caves, where jumping around with Miraidon kind of felt like a 3D platformer. Underbaked one. It kind of made me wish there were more sections like that, like hard platform challenges or something. I'm not saying like 3D world where there's like moving platforms and stuff, but like, I don't know, some more difficult maneuvering or something. That would be kind of cool. Maybe there's something in the post game I haven't played yet. Doubt it. One thing that I want to say mixed, but it's more like they did one thing good and then another part bad. Character customization. Right when you start the game, you get the ability to change your eye shape, mouth shape, hair color, eye color. And that is great. That is fantastic. That is a great addition. Should have been in it since like, I don't know, fucking, I didn't run in blue. Why not? Give me some like different pixel shapes. But I'm really happy to see it here. Unfortunately, character customization outside of your face, it's bad. You can't change anything. I was really worried you're going to be forced to wear the school outfit, and that's exactly what happened. You can buy different shoes and different socks, so that's cool, I guess. But the 4 different outfits for the trainer are the only ones you're gonna get. There aren't even that many clothes shops around in the different towns. I looked for them, I couldn't find them. So you're kind of just stuck looking like a school student, and that's really awkward, because in the raid battles, it like shows all 4 of the trainers in there, and they all look the same outside of like their hat and their face, and it's just I don't know, it's dumb. Because like Sword and Shield, it wasn't great, but like it was pretty good. Like there were a decent amount of outfits and like shirts and pants and stuff, and even like sunglasses. There are sunglasses in this game, I think, but like there's just not nearly enough customization. It's gonna be sold back to us in the DLC, don't you worry, guys. So character customization is kind of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and that's kind of upsetting. I forgot I'm in the positive section. That started out positive, it turned negative, but whatever. One thing I am shocked to find in the positive section is the story and characters. No spoilers, because you know, game's kind of new. It's another. I guess it's another thing I'm kind of mixed on. I'll just say the gym plot where you go around doing gyms. There's no plot. It's just go fight the gyms. That was the entire plot of Sword and Shield. You just go fight the gyms. You do all 8 of them. Nimona, your rival, fights you sometimes. You meet some of the. I almost said a spoiler. You meet some of the upper level people, I'll say. It's like, it's fine. It's just something to do. Not really much of a plot there, but that's fine. The Team Star thing. There are 5 Team Star bases. You gotta take them all out. The mini game was kind of awkward, but I guess I got used to it. It wasn't really fun. I got used to it, but it wasn't fun. Then you fight the car, the person in the car at the end. It's pretty neat, but the story for that section, like if you turn your brain off, which is what I did for the first two, it's actually kind of, it's like a decent little story. Like it's interesting, it's mysterious or whatever. But once you think about it for like like a couple seconds, it kind of falls apart. It doesn't really make sense. Like not in like the usual way Pokemon plots fall apart, but in a really weird. I can't. I'm gonna have a spoiler section at the end of the video, so I can talk about what I mean in case people want to see that, I guess. But I mean, it's not bad. Like if you want to enjoy it, just don't think about it, because I think it was after like the fourth one, the characters are talking like, oh, that's kind of cute, whatever, and then I thought about it. I thought about like something that's kind of weird, and then it kind of spiraled and like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Why would that happen? And then just kind of spiraled off, and it doesn't make sense anymore. Especially like the end, like it does not make sense. Whatever. It was enjoyable, I guess. But the good one, Arven's plot, for some reason is like amazing. Not amazing, but it's like really, I don't know. It's just like good. It's just interesting. Arven is probably one of my favorite characters from the game. I think it's a story that fits really well in an open world setting, because I mean, it kind of takes place anytime you fight a Titan Pokemon, so you can do that plot whenever you want. It's a plot that works in an open world setting. It's engaging. It's interesting. It's good. Yeah. Is this a spoiler? I guess that's fine. There's kind of a fourth plot, and it's the one after you beat all three. Then there's a fourth one, which is like the end plot, and that one kind of falls under the star thing. I think it's better. I think it's interesting. I liked it a lot on a first playthrough, but again, once I thought about it for 8 seconds, it does not make sense. Talk about that in the spoiler part. But the parts of that don't really need to make sense are great. That's a sentence that makes sense totally. I guess this is a good way to transition. The characters are actually pretty good. It's almost like they actually hired writers this time or something, because like the writing was like consistently not funny, but like it had a different vibe. Like it was actually like, it felt like real people were talking. Wow, that's a compliment. That's something I have to say as like a standout. The characters feel like real people. This is insane. But for real though, like wow, I actually just in the last section, the characters there are actually like talking with each other, and it's like a pretty good writing, and it's like engaging kinda. Like I don't know, it makes me sad that like they didn't show up until the end. They didn't like. This is hard to talk about without spoiling, so I'm just gonna stop. The writing is good. Characters are pretty good. Arven is MVP. Yeah. So I guess the way to sum it up is that the characters are good. The story is just kind of meh, for the most part. Better than Sword and Shield? I don't know. Sword and Shield's plot. There's gonna be a lot of comparisons between Sword and Shield in this game. This game's objectively better. Like it's just a fact, except for that one thing. But I'll get to it. Sword and Shield's plot, other than like the pacing, it didn't make sense because the characters were really dumb and nothing really, like the way it didn't make sense is that the characters did things they obviously wouldn't do, and it just was really weird. This game, it doesn't make sense in a way that's like, it's really hard to describe, but it's like, it doesn't make sense like logically. Like Sword and Shield didn't make sense just by watching it and be like, what the hell is going on? But this game, you kind of have to think about how it doesn't make sense, and then it's even worse than Sword and Shield. But at least it's interesting if you turn your brain off. I don't know. I'll get to it in the spoiler section, but it was fine. There's some other stuff to talk about before the negative section. The new Pokemon. I think, overall, they're pretty good. Unfortunately, I chose Fuecoco, and that, I've seen all of the starter evolutions. That was the right choice. I'll talk about it in the spoiler section, but oh my god, what the hell happened to the other two? Yeah, I think Fuecoco's line is honestly one of the best starter lines I've seen since like Decidueye. That was only like 2 generations ago, so I guess it's not that big of a deal, but like, it's a good line. That's all I can say, because I'm not spoiling anything. It's a good line. And the rest of the Pokemon are pretty good. I don't think there's any I hate. There are like 3 lines which don't really change on evolution. Like there's one Pokemon, its evolution it just kind of stands up, and then the other evolution just gets more hair, I guess. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of dumb, but as long as they only do it once. But then there are like 2 other Pokemon that kind of do the same thing, and it's kind of weird. Well, like whatever. One thing I don't like, Wiglet. That was revealed in the trailer. Wiglet, it's not a Pokemon. It's not a regional form. It's a completely new Pokemon. It's not related to Diglett in any way, and I think that's fine. It's kind of funny, like sure, but they did it again. There's 2 Pokemon that are quote-unquote new Pokemon, and like that's a thing you only do once, because if you do it twice, then it's kind of lazy, because you're just reusing a new Pokemon. It's like look, this is a new one. It's completely new. It's not original form. It's a new Pokemon, and like that's a thing you can only do once. The form is funny. You know what I'm talking about? It's funny, but like it's kind of lazy. Any other positives? I think the raid battles are pretty decent. Definitely, it's million step ups from Sword and Shields. That's not even comparable. In this game, you like take all your turns at the same time, so there's not a lot of waiting. You just kind of like all attack it at once, which saves a lot of time. It's great. I like how you have the choice to attack or cheer, which will give you different benefits. Because like in Sword and Shield, you can only cheer when you died, and it just kind of did a random thing. But here you can just cheer whenever, and if you got to choose if you want to cheer or attack. So there's like choices. I guess that's it for raids. They're fine. I think this is a good one to transition into the negative section. We're not in the negative section yet, but you'll see what I mean. The music, most of the time, was pretty decent. I think it's not the greatest. I think Sword and Shield absolutely nailed the soundtrack, especially the battle themes, and that was like the best part of that game. And this game, it doesn't really do a good job of following that up. It's not terrible. It's just kind of like fine. Especially the gym theme. The gym theme is the definition of a downgrade from Sword and Shields. Like that thing was a masterpiece. But this one's just kind of fine. There's no like outstanding music for me except for the Terra Raid battle and a fight near the end of the game. You probably know what I'm talking about if you played the game. Other than that, it's just kind of fine. But there are 2 songs in the game that baffle me with how horrible they are. It's kind of a spoiler, damn it. I won't say what they are. I'll just say there's a fight against some people and there's a fight against another person, and their battle themes were pathetic. They weren't even like battle themes. They were just like it didn't even like start. It was just like, and it was that for the entire song. There was not even like percussion. What I did was literally the entire song, and it was on loop for the entire time. And that's what I thought. I'm like, wow, they botched that theme, those themes. That said, turns out that the song that played throughout the entire battle, that was just like the thing that was supposed to play when it says, oh, this person wants to battle, and then when they send out their first Pokemon, the beat drops and the actual song starts. Apparently, that was a glitch. My game glitched and the music didn't start. It just played on loop. It played on loop the beginning part for the entire battle, and it did that for the final guys and then the final guy. So it's actual music. I heard it. I listened to it on YouTube. You know, it's an actual song. That's good, right? No. I think that's a perfect transition into the biggest problem with this game, which I'm going to talk about now. Ladies and gentlemen, I can say with 100% confidence that I was right. I was correct. I said it from the beginning. The second I saw those windmills in that first trailer, I knew it was done. I just didn't know to what extent I was right. These games are not done. They are broken. They are not ready for release. If you don't know what I'm talking about somehow, I'm talking about visuals and performance. I think visually, the game is fine. Like, sometimes it looks good. Other times, you look at the side of a mountain and you get to see like the repeated texture. It's kind of like the Breath of the Wild effect, where like when you look at something close enough, it looks pretty bad, but when you step back and take it all as one big picture, it looks fine. Not even close to Breath of the Wild though. Let me make that clear. Breath of the Wild looks infinitely better than this game. But there's some like as isolated sections that look okay, and there are some areas that actually look pretty good. But like that was the case in Sword and Shield with like the fairy town. Just make the whole game look good. That's not really the problem though. The amount of visual glitches, and that's pretty much it. Just glitches, bugs in this game is unacceptable. I think it is 100% unacceptable for a $60 AAA Nintendo game to be this unfinished. I was 100% right. I saw in the trailers leading up to the game, there were like glitches in the trailer. I'm not even talking about like the unfinished animations. Just like the models like changing position 3 frames after the camera switched. And like some weird clipping stuff, the frame rate being weird. I said in my reaction to them, if this stuff is in the trailer, what's it going to be like in the actual game? And boy, did we get our answer. It's wow. Shadows like clipping out. I think earlier today, I was playing the game, there's like this giant shadow moving overhead. I'm like, okay, there's a giant cloud going over the sun. But no, I look to my left, and the sun's like going down the mountain, and there's nothing in front of it. There's nothing blocking it. There's just a giant shadow moving across my character, even though there's nothing. So the clouds are terrible. The shadows are so bad in this game. They change constantly. Like, it'll change from like night to day in a millisecond. Not literally, not like the time changing from night to day. It'll be like something's blocking the sun, and then you move your camera 1 inch, and then just bam, whatever was blocking it is gone. And very early on, I discovered what that was. Early in the game, I was walking along, and there's like this windmill near you, and I'm fighting a Pokemon. I'm moving my camera around, and the shadow for the windmill just disappears, and it comes back. I move my camera back and forth. It disappears, comes back, disappears, comes back, and I look over to the windmill, and I can see that it's like disappearing. The windmill is just like going away the second it leaves my camera, but like not even really that cleanly. Like it just kind of disappears before it even like leaves my camera. So what I think they're doing is when the character is facing away from something, it'll despawn a ton of stuff behind it. It's very obvious, you can tell just by like moving your camera around, you can like catch it like disappearing. But they forgot to like account for the shadows. Like when the thing disappears, like the shadows just like also disappear, and it's super obvious and it looks horrible. And that goes throughout the entire game. It's just crazy. Some other stuff, the camera clips into the ground and like walls all the time. Like it's crazy. In battles, outside of battles, leaving and going in buildings. Like this stuff would be like, you don't see any of this stuff in like Mario Odyssey. You just don't. Like, it would be bad if it happened like once or twice, but it's almost rare that you get through a single like battle without it clipping at least once. The fact that I can get used to it and just be like, oh, it did it again, that's bad. That's not good. I'm really not a guy who cares about frame rate. Someone can come up to me and be like, hey, look, I got this 70 FPS MPI MP3 shit. It's so cool and high tech. I really don't care. Like, frame rate is really not an issue to me. This game, the frame tanks so often. The frame rate can't even reach a consistent 30 FPS, and it's super noticeable sometimes. The performance is just bad. I don't think they were ready to make an open world game, even though they should be. They should very much be ready for this, but they just weren't. Also, the amount of just like visual glitches, like actual just straight up glitches I get a game launches, there's gonna be some glitches, absolutely. But oh my god. Whenever the camera like changes positions or like locations in a cutscene, you can just see everything like load in. Like it's very obvious. Like anytime it changes camera, you can expect like some model to be weird or like some background lighting to be messed up. Like every time. Like I don't think there was a single time in a cutscene throughout the entire game where it felt like the game was ready for the camera to change angles. It's so weird. And in like Terra raid battles, like after you beat the guy and you throw a Pokeball, it seems like the Pokeball like falls weird, just like falls like a ton all at once, like in one frame, then it like changes camera angles and it like falls. It's really weird. It's really hard to describe. I'll probably find a video of it and show it. All this stuff, I got used to over the course of a game. There's some other stuff this is not the end of the negative section, but I got used to like the frame clipping out. I got used to like shadows being weird. Cause like I just wanted to play the game. I could get used to it, but like I shouldn't have to, right? I should not have to be like, okay, I can ignore this to enjoy the game. Like I have a decent patience for that kind of stuff. Like it's funny when it happens. I'm like, haha, funny. But then I'm like, wow, I paid $60 for this, and the game's gonna sell amazing. This is like the most difficult part for me, cause like I think this is a really good Pokemon game, and I think they did a pretty good job at moving over to open world. But I don't want to recommend it to people because, like, I don't want this to set a precedence that they can just do whatever they want. And like that's already been set by Sword and Shield. But the worst part is this is like I'm totally fine saying don't buy Sword and Shield. Do not buy it. It's a terrible game. But like this game, it's even worse because I think the game is actually good. But like they can't be allowed to do this. They can't keep getting away with it. It's just embarrassing, honestly. Like the game is good. I think it's really good, but it's just so abysmal. Like I think it's different for different people. Like some people have like the camera be fine, some people have it glitch out every 8 seconds. But I didn't even mention the game crashed twice. The game crashed for me 2 times in one playthrough. I got soft lock a couple times. To be fair, the game does kind of have like a reset feature. If it can tell when you get soft lock when you're stuck on like a fence or something. It'll like fade to black and it'll like teleport you somewhere nearby. But they should. So they're aware that you get soft locked, but they didn't fix it. They just added like a catch-all. So like yeah, they technically fixed it, but I shouldn't be getting soft locked in this AAA. Oh lordy, 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 loo, penis and cock and dick and ball. So yeah, I was right. I called it. Game terrible, graphically and visually and performancely. It's wow. It's almost impressive. It would be impressive if it wasn't so sad. I guess that's all I want to say about that. There's some other negative stuff. Battling is dreadful. It was a lot worse earlier in the game when your moves didn't do a lot of damage, but just it felt so slow. Like in Arceus, I didn't like Arceus too much, but I could admit that like they did a good job kind of revamping the battle system to make the battles go by faster. Having all the stats raise or lower at once is just kind of a duh introduction. In this game, all the stats raise at once, up one at a time, and they decrease one at a time. The Crab Titan, its ability is the same as Shell Smash. Shell Smash, that's the one, where it raises your attack, special attack, and speed, but lowers your defenses. And it raises attack, then it raises special attack, then it raises speed, and does little blah 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 blah, like one at a time. It has the text box appear at the bottom. And it's just like, this game was made in 2022. Come on, man. You couldn't have done anything to make it go faster. And that goes through the entire game. All the moves that hit one at a time, like I don't know, I don't think it's even in the game, but pin missile, sure, whatever. It'll do it the animation once, it'll blah blah blah, and then health will go down to say, I don't think it says it's effective, but it pauses for like 2 seconds, then it uses it again. It takes at least like 30 seconds for like a move to hit 5 times. It's just they couldn't have done anything to speed it up. And even not even just like the moves and stuff, just like switching Pokemon, it takes like way longer than it used to. You'll switch it out, and it'll take at least like 5 seconds for the game to catch up, I guess, and throw it out. It's really weird, but it takes a long time for you to switch Pokemon. Again, I eventually got used to it. Like, I'm just like, okay, battles are gonna take a while, I can just hunker down and just accept that. But I shouldn't have to. This it's just dreadful. Also, there's just a ton of stuff they removed for no reason. XP share, being able to turn that off is annoying. At least this time the game is built around it, but like, honestly, that's not my main problem with the XP share. My main problem with the XP share isn't the fact that my Pokemon will get over leveled or something. The way I train Pokemon, I don't know why I do this, it's just my dumb brain saying goo goo gaga, this is how you must do it. I train all my Pokemon up, and whichever Pokemon is my lowest level, like if I have all level 32s and I got one level 31, I will use the 31 until it levels up, and then I'll switch to the next one. And then when the Pokemon levels up, I switch to the next one. That's just what I like to do. Even if it's like a terrible idea and there's like a rock type gym, I'm gonna put the flying type in front because it's the lowest level. And that's what I just like to do. I just like to have them all be the same level. Not only because it keeps them all the same level, but allows me to use every single one. Like evenly, I get to use all of them and learn what moves they do and stuff. The XP share spits in the face of that, because some Pokemon earn more XP than others. Early in the game, I caught the bug, the Route 1 bug, and I was training that up for a while, and I was trying to make it catch up with my Fuecoco. But because it was getting XP as well, it just also kept leveling up. So no matter how much I leveled up my bug, I would never be even with the fire crocodile. And it would just, like, I would just be stuck there forever training the bug because I don't want to use the fire type because then it's going to get over leveled. And that's my main problem. That even happened later in the game. I caught a Pokemon that leveled up a lot faster than everyone else, and I just never got to use it. It was just always in the back of my party. And just give me the option to turn it off. That's what I'm gonna wrap around back to. Just, it's a yes or no question. It's been in since Gen 6. Just let me turn it off, please. And what's worse, they got rid of something else. You know, okay. You know how when you beat a Pokemon in a trainer fight, it's like, hey, it's about to send out Dick my butt. Would you like to switch Pokemon? That's good for like new players, but I don't really like that mechanic, cause like it kind of takes away not only like the challenge, but like the suspense of like a new Pokemon's coming out. I mean, it's kind of cool to see like the name of a new Pokemon and then they throw it out, but like I just kind of want to see it. And also, it prepares you better for online battles. They removed that choice. In other Pokemon games, you were allowed to turn that off and just have it send out the Pokemon immediately. They got rid of that. That's been in since Red and Blue. Maybe. I think it's been in at least since Yellow. I know that. But like, why? It was a yes or no question that affected nobody. It was on by default anyways. So like, what is the point? Why get rid of it? Nobody was complaining about it. No one said anything. They just got rid of something for literally no reason. And the daycare's gone too. There's like a replacement for the daycare, so like I guess it's fine. But like, it's just like, why? Like, just put it in there. That's the worst thing. It's just they remove stuff for no reason. Stuff that would take 8 seconds. I'm not a programmer, I'm not a game designer, but I feel like a yes or no question for Switch or Set would not be that hard to implement, considering they've been doing it since like 1996. Also, the XP bar is just gone now in battles. It's really not that big of a deal, but it's just like, why? It's just annoying. I like seeing the XP bar in battles. You see it after you kill a Pokemon and then it goes away, but like, why not? Why? Was it hurting anyone? What was wrong with the XP bar? I don't know. I guess that's really all I had to say. That's like not a spoiler. I don't think there's any negatives in the spoiler section. Actually, no, there is. There very much is. But like nothing game breaking. I guess I'll conclude for the non-spoilery people. I want to say if you haven't liked Pokemon games since like, I don't know, Black and White, and you don't really like 3D Pokemon, I think this is the first game that takes full advantage of it being in 3D. Like, you can't say this game started on the 3DS. You can say that about Sword and Shield, but this game definitely cannot have started on the 3DS. It's made for the Switch. It's made for 3D Pokemon. You can't, I mean, you probably could put it in 2D, but it probably wouldn't be that fun. And that's great. Go pick it up. I can't say that though, because I mean, the game's gonna. I don't want to be that. Don't take anything I say to heart, because I'm really dumb. But like, the game's gonna sell anyways. They're already gonna. I mean, there's a chance they patch it, I guess. No, they won't. The only updates they do is for like raid battles or like DLC that you gotta pay for. They're definitely not gonna fix it unless there's like that big of an outcry. But we saw how well Dexit went, so. I mean, if you want to play the game, just do it. I'm not gonna make you feel bad for buying a game. I bought it, so I can't talk. It's just like so annoying that the game is this bad. It's not because it's obvious they did not have time. The game is not ready to release, and it's just, I don't think it's cyberpunk tier, but it's like below that, and that's bad. I don't know. Get it if you want. I think there's a fun game in there. I really enjoyed the time with the game. I think the new Pokemon are cool. The characters, the gym leaders, you don't really talk to them a lot, but their designs are good. The normal type gym leader is the best character in the game. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, spoiler time. Wow, what the hell happened to the cat? Jesus. Okay. The starter evolutions, my lord. All right. You know, I might make like a new Pokemon tier list. That might be a funny video to make. I might do that. I guess I'll save my opinions on the starters for then. And also all the new Pokemon. All the new Pokemon are fine, I think. I don't think there's any I hate. I'll do that. I'll make a tier list video. That'll be funny. Story spoiler time. What the hell happened in the last part of Team Star's plot? I think the fake twist where it was like, Clavel was like, I was the guy who was on the phone. I was using a voice changer. That joke wouldn't work if there was voice acting. But I thought it was funny. Because like, I did it. Fight me. And then you fight Clavel. And then he's like, I was kidding. Then the big actual twist, it was Penny the whole time. What a twist, oh my god. Their team is just the evolutions, because why not? Could have used a new one there, but you know, whatever. And then like I don't even remember what happened. It just was like, yeah, okay, my main problem with the star plot, right? If there are so many kids getting bullied at your school that they're leaving, like hundreds, there are hundreds of Team Star members. Like living in your bullying is so bad that hundreds of students don't go to your school, and not only that, they group up in like little camps and travel around Paldea. How do you not? How does the school stay and function? There's not that. I saw my character's dorm room. It is massive. There cannot be that many people in the school, and there's hundreds leaving because they're getting bullied. Like the school would fall apart. Like there's no way. But then also, the Team Star leaders or whatever, they say they pranked the bullies, and then the bullies also left the school. So the bullies and the entirety of Team Star don't go to school anymore. How does that work? It just doesn't make sense. Like I think if you turn your brain off, then like all the Team Star leaders like hanging out and be like, oh, we're with the power of friendship. Like it's wholesome, kind of, it's cute. But like the fact that it's just kind of weird. I don't know. Like I could ignore it. It's funny, I guess. Arvin's plot is really good. I actually really enjoyed that one with his like sick dog. I think it's like a unique Pokemon plot because like it's smaller stakes, but it feels bigger. You know? Because like you know in like a movie where a character says, oh, the main villain's gonna destroy the world. Technically, the stakes are like huge. Everyone's gonna die. But it doesn't really feel that way. But in another movie, like a character, great example here, it's like a character gets sick. Wow, amazing. What a great comparison. A character gets sick and you really care about that character. The stakes are small in comparison to the world ending, but they feel bigger, you know? Like you're more connected. That's kind of the case with Arvin's story. Like, Sword and Shield, Eternatus is going to turn the world to ash. I don't give a piss. But an Arvin's dog got cancer. I'm there for that. Not for the cancer. Your dog. So I think Arvin's plot really works. I think it's really cute. And then I also like how he's the son of the professor. Wow. What a shock, by the way. Professor's... Is he the villain? I think there really isn't like a main villain. That's the thing I'm going to talk about in a minute when I get to like the final plot. But I guess there's not really a villain in this game. Unless you count the professor, but I really don't because it's kind of weird and I'll get to that. But yeah, I think Arvin's pretty neat. I think Nemona's okay. At first I was kind of annoyed how she's like, I'm going to battle you. That's my personality. I like battling. But she got better as time went on. Mainly because she doesn't battle you that much, which is kind of ironic. I was like, please battle me more. I wanted to see what the starters turned into. I didn't know what they turned into yet, so I'm like, I want to see what they turn into. And then she wouldn't battle me. I'm like, God damn it. It's the inverse of Hop, where he just battled you every 8 milliseconds. It's like, stop. And then Penny's weird. She doesn't really show up throughout the team start plot, and then she's the boss. But like afterwards, she's kind of entertaining. Also, Larry is a member of the Elite Four. Are you kidding me? That's the best. That's the best thing. That's the end of the sentence. The best thing. Also, the Elite Four and Champion were the thing I'm talking about with the music glitching out. That was fun. Thanks for that game. But yeah, I love Larry. Larry's awesome. I guess I can talk about the final plot now. This, on a first playthrough, this was hype. Okay, I think most of it was good. I think this is where like the writing and the characters shined, because you walking around with all the other three talking, like they're talking as you're walking around, and I think their dialogue actually, again, it feels like real people are talking, and it's actually like kind of charming and nice. It makes me wish like they interacted more throughout the game instead of right at the end, because I remember like after you beat the final boss and like you're talking with Clavel in his office, I'm like, man, I can't wait to see these characters interact more. And then I realized, oh wait, the game's over. They're not going to talk anymore after this, are they? So that was kind of sad. But I enjoyed what I got. It was pretty entertaining. I liked how they fought over my friendship. It actually felt like I was actually... How do I say this in a not sad way? It felt like... Not me. I don't feel like they're my real friends. But you know what? It felt like they're the characters' friends. Like, it felt like they actually kind of grew to like each other over the game, and it makes sense that they'd be fighting over my friendship in game. I don't know. It was kind of funny. Then you get down into the lab. Oh my god, I called this. I predicted this. Not in a video. Before the final section even started, I said as a joke, oh, Terrell's a not Terrell, what's his name? Turo? Professor Turo? He's a robot. Put money on it right now. I called that. Predicted, signed, sealed, done. I'm a genius. But yeah, he's a robot, and this is where the story doesn't really make sense. On a first playthrough, and if you turn your brain off, it's pretty good. But when you think about it, man, it does not work. So Professor Turo wanted Pokemon from the future, so they could... He wanted the future Pokemon and the present Pokemon to live in harmony. I'm assuming this is the same in Scarlet, but... he wanted them to live in harmony. What? Huh? You want Pokemon from the future and Pokemon from the present to live in harmony? What does that even mean? What? That's not like Pokemon from different regions you want to live in harmony. Like you want Pokemon from Galar and Pokemon from Paldea to live in harmony. That's just past and future. I mean, I guess if we went to like 1865, we'd probably get along, I'd imagine. That doesn't really make... What does that even mean? Like, you want Pokemon from the future to be cool with Pokemon from the present. Why not... I don't even understand. Like, that's his main goal, other than like finding out more about the future. And also they just introduced AI and time travel into the series, just like that, but whatever. I don't know, it's just kind of a weird thing. That was already like kind of weird. I like that the professor was dead. Like, I don't... Like, it was like a cool, like, oh shit moment. Like, oh, he actually died. And then I'm like, oh, Arvin. But then that's never... I can't wait for Arvin to, can't wait for that to be paid off. And then, in order to shut off the time machine, you gotta put the book that Arvin conveniently gave to you earlier. And then the AI is like, oh, but when you do this, I'm gonna be angry and I'm gonna fight you. Why? Why does that happen? Other than, like, to give you a fight. And then you attempt to shut down the time machine, and then the AI professor is like, I'm evil now. Like, it was really, like, wouldn't he be like a security bot? He's like, attempt to not turn off computer, you will be exterminated or whatever. Instead he's like, now behold the power of the future. Like, why would he do that? Is that what the original professor was like? He's like really evil now for no reason. And like the time machine is also still clearly on. He literally grabs a Pokeball from the future with a Master Ball, by the way. Badass. But like, why is he like evil? Why is he like nefarious, like a little nefarious little wacky kind of guy? I don't know. You fight him, and then the machine almost shuts down. And this is the part where it feels like two kids are playing this game, because the professor is evil again, and he gets like half terrestrialized. He's like, I've used the power of terrestrialization, and I throw my big dragon. But you're not allowed to use your Pokeballs. I've blocked your Pokeballs. You can't use them. They're mine now. And this led to a sick moment where Throughout the game, you've had Miraidon on like the bottom of your screen. Like whenever you select a Pokemon, you've had it on the bottom. You can't choose it because it's your ride Pokemon, but it's always been there. But then in the final battle, you can't choose anything, and then you can select a Miraidon. You can throw it out, and it's like super powerful. I'm like, holy shit, that's kind of cool. It gave me like Undertale vibes, you know, like when. That's a really weird thing to say, but it did. Like it's been there the whole time, but now you can actually use it. Like it's cool. I thought that was really cool, and then the fight is cool, whatever. And then Time Machine breaks, I guess, and then yeah, like the ending part was really cool because the characters are good. The AI stuff was pretty interesting, but when you think about it, it doesn't really make sense. Because and also another thing, the professor needs to like go to the future for the time machine to turn off. Why? Or I think it just needs to be destroyed, or either go to the future. So he chooses to go to the future, but like. Why does that need to happen? He built the AI. I mean, he built the AI from stuff from the future, right? So wouldn't that also mean all the Pokemon have to go back too, including Miraidon? But it's fine. It's just the professor that needs to go back for some reason in order for the thing to shut down. That doesn't really make sense. But I mean, whatever. The plot is, at least this time, the plot is good when you don't think about it, instead of the plot being bad no matter what way you think about it, like it was in Sword and Shield. What other spoiler stuff is there? I guess that's kind of it. I've been talking for an hour? Okay. I'm assuming, I don't know how long this is going to be when I cut it down, but probably less than an hour. That's Scarlet and Violet. I'm going to do the post game now. I think it seems kind of sad. I think you just go around fighting a bunch of gym leaders and then that's it. But, I mean, I don't know. I hope there's some kind of post game. Yeah. New Pokemon game. I guess I'm making a tier list of all the new Pokemon because that sounds funny. Yeah. What starter did you pick? And why did you feel bad about not picking Fuecoco? Alright, bye.